Welcome to the Heart of Giving. As you know, this program is to introduce you to the people in the city of Long Beach that belong to nonprofits and work for nonprofits. And all of these things make our city so much more convenient, more helpful, more feeling. I think that this is the soul of the city. I think I say that every week, but anyway, I just want you to know that we welcome you. And I say, I think also every week, that I have wonderful guests that are bringing things to the city of Long Beach that are new, that are innovative, things that need to be done, and they take care of them. And today we have someone from Rick Reckers. And I say, what's Rick Reckers? Rick Reckers is an organization, it's an auxiliary of the Assistance League. We've had the Assistance League on the program before. However, the Rick Reckers have a project that is so meaningful to our city, so meaningful to our school children, that we have the person who's responsible. She is the chair of Operation School Bell, Karen Jenkins. And Karen, we're so glad that you're here.
I'm honored to be here.
Well, I don't think people really realize the impact that Operation School Bell has on the city of Long Beach and the Unified School District. And I can remember when the school district went to uniforms, and people say, oh, we can't do that. And there were people saying, well, we're going to sue them because that's, we can't afford that. And then comes this group of women in the city of Long Beach that said, we'll provide uniforms free. And it was the Rick Reckers. And I still remember that. I still remember what a great service to our community. So anyway, before I go anymore and talk about any more, you are the chair.
Yes, I am.
And can you tell us a little bit about how it's grown and how important, the importance that it is? You know, I'm going to stop you along the way because
no problem.
I love the project so much. But tell us about Operation School Bell.
Well, it started in 1974, and the Rick Reckers Auxiliary began providing school clothes to the students in the Unified School District. And then in 1993, there was a huge crime wave in the schools. There was a lot of violence, not necessarily at the schools, but in the neighborhoods. The gang members couldn't differentiate between the students and the opposing gang members, so they found that the answer to that, the superintendent at the time, was to put the children in school uniforms. Mm-hmm. And so Operation School Bell changed from providing just regular clothes to school uniforms to the students. And the last 2 years, we've been able to clothe or provide uniforms to 10,000 students each year.
10,000?
Mm-hmm. It's really grown. It used to be in a small little school. We called it the Operation Schoolhouse, where the students would come in 6 at a time and get their uniforms, and we might be able to touch 25 a day, get uniforms to those students. But now we're up to 10,000, so it's a fabulous achievement for us. We're really excited.
Oh, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Well, you're not still doing it out of that little Operation School Board.
No, we have past chairs of Operation School Bell have really streamlined the process, and we have the school will go and do what we call sizings, mm-hmm. Like the 6th graders. We go out to their orientation and we measure them, and then we'll do a huge pack where our corporate partners will come and our members, our volunteers of Assistance League of Long Beach, and we spend all day packing in a big room and just load all the backpacks in a big trailer and deliver them the next day to the schools.
What is it? What is it that you give to them?
We provide for elementary schools 2 full uniforms, tops and bottoms, undergarments, socks.
The color of that school?
Yes, the color for that school, and sweatshirts and a backpack and school supplies.
So 2 complete uniforms, a top and
mm-hmm.
pants or skirt. Mm-hmm. and sweatshirt.
Sweatshirt and undergarments and socks.
And the backpack.
Mm-hmm. And it all goes in a backpack. And then the middle schoolers, they get 3 tops and 2 bottoms, and they get a drawstring bag that they.
Now, let's say that you have all these children, and do you know beforehand how many size 6s you need and how many size 8s you need, and how do you know
well,
this?
for the 6th graders, when we go out and measure, then we place the order based on those measurements, and then a couple weeks later we'll get the inventory in and be able to pack the backpacks.
But you don't do that with the others.
The others we just try to estimate based on past years, and then
But
we
I
get
mean
the
with
orders.
the child.
Oh,
When the child comes in,
we kind of hold up the
I
pants
see.
to them, or we have measuring tape that, you know,
I
hold
see.
at their waist and ask them to turn around so we can kind of get a measurement.
so you have it all in a backpack, and so you give them the backpack.
No, unfortunately, we can't do it right then and there because we
Okay.
then go take it all back to our philanthropic center on
Oh,
Spring
I
Street,
see.
and that's where all of our inventory is. And then we pack the backpacks, and then our members deliver the uniforms to the schools.
Oh.
So it's a couple weeks before
oh.
the students actually get
Well,
them.
I can remember when it first started, and you had this little Operation School Bell, and they would line up.
Yeah, that's the house. They used to come in and get their clothes right then and there and leave.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Oh, it's streamlined now.
It's streamlined in the sense that we can provide uniforms to many more students, but they unfortunately don't get to walk away with their clothes when they come.
Well, I can remember seeing, I think I've mentioned this before several times, out there once, and watching the kids go in and come out, and and how excited they were. It's the first time they've ever had probably something that wasn't a hand-me-down from their older brothers
Right,
and sisters.
right.
But this one little boy came out, and he loved holding these white socks. He just loved. He said, "I got socks," you
Isn't
know,
that
and they're
fabulous?
snowy white, and they were brand new. So you don't see them holding their things.
Not as often as we used
Okay.
to, yes. We do have a Make a Difference Day where we have one school that we clothe the entire school. And we pick that at the end of November. It falls on National Make a Difference Day. And we do deliver those backpacks to the school. It's a big event, and the students come and pick up their backpacks, and they do see them right then and there. And they get excited about their backpacks. One little girl's jumping out up and down, a pink backpack, that's my favorite color. And so we do see some of that. And when we go out and measure at the schools, when do I get my uniforms? When do they come? I'm so excited. They're
Oh,
just
yeah.
so cute. And you know you're making a difference when
Oh,
they're really thrilled to
absolutely.
have those new clothes. And
Absolutely.
it's great.
And how many did you do?
10,000 last year and the year before, and that's our goal this year again.
My. Now, who pays for all of this?
We have some very wonderful corporate partners who provide funding. We also have foundations. Our Assistance League thrift shop proceeds from that also contribute. We also run a Clothe a Child campaign a couple times a year. So that's where we get our funding.
Well, you also have funding for their other projects, because I know you're involved in a lot of things, or Rick Reckers is involved with a lot of things. By the way, do you know how the Rick Reckers started that name?
Yes, I do.
How?
They used to fold bandages during the war, and they wore white aprons with red Rick Rack on, you know, the little squiggly border on their aprons, and so they were called
So
the
this
Rick Rackers.
organization wore white Rick Racker.
White aprons with red.
Oh, with red Rick Racker. In case people don't know, Rick Rack is just a little strip that goes this way.
Yeah, it's like little waves in
That
a
they
sense.
used to put on clothes, but they don't do that much anymore.
I
do
know, I
they?
don't see it anymore.
I don't think so either. So the Rick Rackers have many projects, and you are part, as I say, of the auxiliary of the Assistance League. So I know that organization probably assists in volunteering and.
Right, we have an orthodontic center. We also do Kids on a Block, which is a puppet show that discusses children's issues at the schools. We also have Operation Shoebox, what the assistings do.
Blanking.
Yeah, I'm blanking. I know there's. We also have the assault survivor kits, and there's a group that also goes to the hospitals and provides
All of
coloring
these under
books
the
and
auspices
things.
of the Assistance League.
Right, it's all Assistance League of
Yeah.
Long Beach.
But your biggest project is the school uniform.
It is one of the biggest. The orthodontic center is
that's right.
also a very large.
And that's just Rick Reckers, or is that with
That's
the
Assistance League.
Yeah.
Rick Reckers, our sole philanthropy is Operation School Bell.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm just have always been so thrilled about our local organizations coming to save the wonderful idea that they had at the time when it was safer to have a uniform than to wear regular identifying
Yes.
clothes, you know,
Yes.
because they don't like color red or blue or whatever it is. So, you know, I just, how many people are in Rick Rackers, by the way?
We only have about 30 members, but Assistance League in Long Beach as a whole has over 900, and there are about 100 or so who are dedicated to Operation School Bell. So it's a group project. We all work together.
Yeah. Well, as I say, it's really one of the most important ones that I think we offer to our school children, because the school district is doing such wonderful work in the classroom, and we've always been proud of the school district. So having this added to this, saying that yes, you can have uniforms in public schools and we're making it happen, is just wonderful. And I appreciate that so much. And I just had to have somebody but come and talk about that
Well, thank you.
one particular project. So
Thank you. We know we make a difference when you see students on the playground who are trying to run and keep with their friends and their pants are falling down because they're too big, or a boy you mentioned without the socks, you know, those kind of things. I had a parent walk up to me and say, "Thank you so much.
Oh, yeah.
This really impacts my family. We really appreciate it. My daughter is so happy to have her new clothes." That's the kind of thing that you just know you're doing the right thing. You know,
Absolutely.
we're helping, I'm helping.
Absolutely.
It's great.
Well, I just love it.
Well,
Karen,
thank you.
thanks so much
Thank
for
you
being here.
so
I just
much.
having you here, it was wonderful. You hear more about it and really emphasize what you're doing.
Thank you.
Thank you, and thank your members too.
I will.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. We'll be right back. Welcome back. And the next program I'm just so delighted to have on our show. It's one of my favorite activities in the city of Long Beach, and that's the Long Beach Municipal Band. 101 years of consecutive music for the city of Long Beach in the parks. This has been a wonderful thing for our city, and I'm so pleased to have Larry Curtis, the conductor, for 23?
23 years.
Oh my goodness, 23 years. And Bill Thomas, who's chair of the Friends of the Band. And we'll know more about both of them in just a minute. But our band has been moved around a lot, because I think it used to start in Lincoln Park when it first started, didn't it?
I wasn't around when it first
Oh, well,
started.
oh, shoot. My goodness, I remember longer than you. No, I think that's where it started. And, but it has moved around, so that it's grown with the city. And Larry, I'm so glad that you're here today. And tell us about your band. Who are they?
Well, they're some of the finest musicians in Southern California. And they're the same people who do the music for films in Hollywood. And in fact, our contractor with the band, the person that helps me select musicians, does contracting for the studios as well. And many of them are members of the LA Philharmonic, the Pacific Symphony,
Good
the
band,
Long Beach.
yeah.
Oh, they're all very, very strong professional players.
Yep, and do they like doing this?
Oh, they
In the
love
park,
it.
is
You
that
know,
right?
it's such an unusual situation for them, because if they're working in the studio, their families don't ever get a chance to hear them play. And so they can come, they bring their families to our parks. And
The band does.
The band does, and they're there almost every night. They come with them.
And has the band always been a summer thing for the city?
Oh no! Back when it was started, actually it was started in 1909, and at that point it was thought by the city council that they should have a band like they had on the East Coast, like the Sousa Band, and help sell real estate in the city of Long Beach.
Is that right?
And the old red car train would end up, and there was a bandstand right almost at the end of that on Pine, on the beach, and the band would play. They played everywhere, and then finally in 1924, one of the band conductors at that time they hired was Herbert L. Clark, who had been the solo trumpeter with the Sousa Band. And he came out here to retire, but the city council talked to him, and the mayor talked to him into becoming the band director. And so at that time, it expanded up to about 85 members. and they began to have a national radio show. That because back on the East Coast, the Goldman Band, which was very famous at the time, broadcast nationally. So Long Beach had its own radio station, and they tied into the other systems, and we began to broadcast the Long Beach Municipal Band nationwide.
Isn't that
so
something?
it was quite a time for the band. They were playing at that time up to 600 performances a year.
Oh my!
They would play.
It was a full-time band.
Full-time band. They would have a rehearsal every morning, a radio broadcast, and then do two additional concerts during the day in the parks. And those bandstands that are still around, they would play there. And during the daytime, where families, most of the men were working and the women were staying at home in those years, and so the family, their audiences during the day were mostly women and children.
Oh, for heaven's sake!
Yes,
Well, I mean, what a legacy! That's a wonderful thing.
it is.
And
It
it's
is.
grown to be something that it still emanates what it started out to.
Yes.
It brings communities together, brings neighbors together. I don't think there's anything more delightful than to hear the music and see the little kids.
Yes.
You know, they get so carried away and they're with their parents,
Yes.
and they just, and it's a social time, but it's also a bringing together of people.
We feel like it's a wonderful community event. We sometimes have as many as 3 generations sitting together
yeah.
as a family. And I've seen, in 23 years, I've seen our audience come and go.
Oh, yeah.
When I first started, we had a wonderful little couple of people who would take up donations for the band. People would put money in to help pay for the band, and they didn't seem to have much money for retirement, so they would always come with vegetables that they grew in their garden and would give me vegetables. So I ate well during that
yeah.
summer.
Well, it's a great community party that
Yeah.
we
Well,
look
you know, I
forward
don't- I
to.
don't-
Every summer, the whole
Oh,
community looks
absolutely.
forward to this.
I
and
don't,
it's
I
so
don't
great.
think there is any other thing in the community other than sporting events that brings that number of people together.
Yeah.
And then, but this is even more local because it's mainly the people that are from that particular area. And we'll get to the locations and your future summer activities in just a minute. But Bill, tell me about what you're doing. I know you've been a band devotee for so many years, and now you are chair of the Friends of the Band. And I don't really know about that organization, so tell me what that is.
Well, we're a brand new organization.
Oh, wow. It took us this long?
Well, we have been talking to folks. I just retired and moved back. I was in Long Beach back in the 50s. And
you remember the band?
Remember some band activities that they put on. But when we moved back, I was delighted to find out that it's now a family affair in the summertime. People put their blankets down, bring their picnic baskets, and just have a great time listening to good music. And I happen to be a fan of good music. I don't necessarily agree with some of the rap music that's
You
out
don't
there
understand
today.
that? I don't
It's not
understand.
my
It's too
kind.
fast.
And I'd rather have my kids and now my 8 grandkids come and hear good music and just have a good time. But we got acquainted with a lot of people that when we got back, we live in the 3rd District, the Alamedas Heights area by the lagoon, and so that's the venue that we would go to. And we started talking about looking forward to getting more expansion, and what happened is because of budgets, it got cut back, and I still have my little Save the Band banner that we had to hold up at City Council to try to say, no, we've got to get this thing going. And we've talked so much about it for the last 5 years, and we haven't done anything. So now we've decided that the Friends of the Band, it's time for us to get in and contribute. So we've organized just this year, since we've got a new council, we've got a new mayor, and so we've got new folks looking at it. And every one of the council people and the mayor I've talked to, and they are so positive on the band.
That's great.
It's such a refreshing
That's great.
conversation to have, and that was part of our momentum to
Very
get
good.
an active Friends of the Band going so that we can support. We're looking to expand from the
For the
5
future.
weeks. We used
Certainly.
to have 8, and as Larry said earlier, you used to have hundreds of them.
I know, I
We'd just
know.
like to get back to 8, but we're trying to show that we can raise more money in the private sector.
That's good.
So that
Okay.
we can get an expansion of the band for 2016.
Well, I remember when I was more involved in the government that, and we were losing the Navy, that we had the same problem. The budgets have been so constrained for so many years that, and I was horrified. I mean, not on my watch, 90 years, it can't go away. And I knew that just in my heart that this was something that was so important to the city of Long Beach. And I didn't want to be the one that was going to let it, all of a sudden die. So I think for one way or another, it struggled for many, many years. So I'm glad that we have an organization now that's going to be really active in keeping it alive.
And when I moved back here after retirement from the South Bay area, we moved back here, and you were then mayor, and we were very pleased that you were an advocate supporter of the band at that time, and really helped promote it, as well as doing a good job of being a promoter of all of Long Beach around the nation in your responsibilities as mayor and the
thank you.
mayor's committee.
Let's talk about what's coming up. I know that you used to have 8 performances a summer, and now you have 5.
We have 5. When I first accepted the position there, we had 10 weeks, and then gradually went 8, 7, 6, and then we felt that 6 was the absolute minimum in order to
Keep the
attract
band
these
together.
kind of players, because they really play far below their regular scale in
I'm
order
sure.
to play in their band, and people wonder why, but it is the camaraderie, and it's the situation as we were talking earlier, and so they give a little bit as well, and. So at any rate, it did cut back to 5, and that scared me because I'm actually having trouble keeping the same regular people on a payroll.
And where are they performing?
They're performing down at the Laguna Arts Festival in the
No, I
orchestra.
mean in the city of Long Beach
Oh, I'm
this
sorry,
summer.
in the city of Long Beach. Well, we start off with our first 2 weeks will be at Whaley on Tuesdays. And then
The first 2 weeks?
The first 2 performances will be at Whaley's on Tuesdays.
Which is a park in the 4th,
So
just right
it's
next
okay.
to the college.
Yeah, and then we moved to the Bluff Park off of Cherry Park, where they remodeled the entire bluff. We'll be out on that bluff
Oh, and
on Ocean Boulevard.
That's on
Just south of
Tuesday
Bixby.
also.
Yes.
Bixby
And
Park.
that's
Yes.
the last 3 Tuesdays.
Right, and
Okay.
that, as far as I'm concerned, is going to be exciting with the new.
so the first 2 are at Whaley Park
Yes.
on a Tuesday,
Right.
and the last 2 are the last 3 are at the Bluff Park on
Yes.
Cherry.
Yes,
Cherry and Ocean.
Cherry and Ocean. Yes.
Okay.
Then on Wednesday night we perform all 5 concerts. So the 5 on Wednesdays will be at Los Cerritos Park,
Los
up in North
Cerritos.
Long Beach.
Okay.
Then Thursday is at Marine Stadium, and that every
One Thursday, that's all?
all Thursdays, all those 5
Thursdays.
Thursdays.
Ah.
And then on Friday, all 5 Fridays will be at El Dorado Park.
Oh my, that's
Yeah.
almost every night they are for about 4 weeks.
Yes, 5 weeks of 4 nights a week, for 5 weeks. Yes.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
And the good information you mentioned about the musicians, I didn't know this until I got more involved.
That's
but
great.
The musicians work all at the same salary, at a
That's
very low
great.
hourly salary.
That's great.
And talking to them and say, "No, we're come down because this is fun. We've got our friends and
Sure,
our family
and they bring
here."
their families.
And
So-
they appreciate hearing folks clap
Yeah,
and
oh,
enjoy
yes.
their music. If they're
And they're
playing in the
looking out
studio,
at
they don't
smiling
get that.
faces.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I
Yeah.
thank you both so
Yeah.
much.
I do want to mention that the concerts start at 6:30.
Oh, yeah, and it starts tomorrow night.
And it starts tomorrow night, and the second half of the concerts, all of the concerts, is an 18-piece jazz band with guest vocalists.
Oh, my goodness.
So we do both.
How
No
marvelous.
matter what kind of music you like.
Well, I could talk with you guys all the time because or for much longer, but our time is up. But I'm just delighted that you're here, and that I hope people see this because, we're talking about next Monday,
We are.
and that's pretty close. But we thank you so much for being here and for being part of the band. And Bill, thank you for starting something new, and thank you for continuing your legacy.
Oh,
It's marvelous. Thank you.
And thank you for being a
You
supporter
bet.
all these years,
Absolutely.
Beverly. We
Thank
enjoy
you
it.
very much. Wasn't that great? Now we're going to have a great month of July. Thanks for watching.